Do you ever look up at the night sky, see those millions of stars and just feel like a completely meaningless speck in an infinite void?
Oh, absolutely. Like, if you vanished tomorrow, the universe wouldn't even blink. It is a pretty common feeling.
Right. But what if instead of being a random byproduct of cosmic dust, the entire universe is actually this incredibly fragile, unstable system?
And what if that massive, imposing system is completely, like, 100% dependent on you to keep it from collapsing?
Exactly. It completely flips the script on how we view our place in the cosmos.
It really does. I mean, instead of being an accidental observer, humanity becomes the absolute linchpin of reality. It's a heavy responsibility, but also, a strangely empowering way to look at existence.
That is the wild premise at the heart of the materials we are exploring in our deep dive today.
And we have some really fascinating sources to unpack.
Yeah, we are looking at a translated set of lecture transcripts and academic notes detailing the cosmology of Daesun Jinri.
Which is a really profound Eastern philosophical and spiritual worldview.
Right. And alongside that, we're bringing in supplementary research from an academic named Choi Won-hyuk, which focuses on the underlying mechanics of yin-yang and the five elements.
The goal today is to really figure out how this specific cosmic blueprint actually works.
Yes, our mission is to map out the origins of the universe according to this tradition and ultimately uncover what it claims is the surprising mission of humanity.
I will say the materials are pretty dense. We're dealing with the absolute origin of everything, which naturally pushes the limits of language.
Oh, totally.
The translator notes actually mention how difficult it is to capture these exact concepts in English. But the core ideas offer a really compelling look at how the universe functions, not just as a physical space, but as a living, interdependent system.
And to understand our supposed role in that system, we have to start with the building blocks.
Right, the absolute foundation.
According to the translated lectures, the universe isn't just rocks, gas, and dark matter. The fundamental structural reality of everything is built on yin and yang. No, I've seen the yin-yang symbol a million times on t-shirts and posters, usually just meaning like balance. But these notes treat it much more literally.
Oh, much more literally. The research we are looking at argues that yin and yang are the absolute basic cells of the universe.
Like atomic cells.
Exactly. They aren't abstract concepts or, moral metaphors for good and bad. The worldview presented here insists there is no object, no event, literally nothing in the universe that is not constructed from the interaction of yin and yang.
Okay, so I followed that part fine, but then I hit a sentence in the primary text that I stared at for like 10 minutes.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Because logically, it makes absolutely no sense at first glance. It says, yin is the mother of yang, and yang is the father of yin.
Right.
In my brain, A creates B. How can they give birth to each other?
It's wild, right? It forces you out of a linear timeline. We are so conditioned to think chronologically.
Yeah, like first there is a parent, then there is a child.
Exactly. But what this philosophy is trying to articulate is a state of eternal mutual creation. It is a deliberate paradox meant to show that one cannot exist without the other already being present.
Wow.
So yin gives birth to yang, while simultaneously, yang is generating yin.
So it's less like a family tree and more like a bar magnet.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Like if I have a magnet, it has a North Pole and a South Pole. I can't just snap it in half and say, cool, I'm going to put the North Pole in my pocket and throw the South Pole away.
Right, because the second you snap it, the new piece instantly generates its own north and south.
Exactly. The structure itself demands both sides.
That captures the structural reality perfectly.
Yeah.
They are intrinsically bound. But in the physical lived universe, these forces are constantly interacting, and that interaction isn't always smooth.
Right.
In fact, this brings up the most crucial pivot in this entire cosmological framework.
Yeah, because if they are inseparable, what happens when they actually try to pull apart? The text claims this isn't just a philosophical problem.
No, it's very literal. Extreme conflict between yin and yang leads to actual cosmic destruction.
And to prevent that destruction, the system relies on a core cosmic law. The specific term used in the literature is Haewon Sangsang. Did I get that right?
Yes, Haewon Sing.
Which translates roughly to the resolution of grievances and mutual beneficence.
Exactly. And it is vital to understand that in Daesun Jinri cosmology, this concept is not just a nice moral suggestion.
It isn't just about being polite.
No, it is the fundamental physics of the universe.
Yeah.
If yin and yang fail to harmonize and instead fight, The whole system crashes.
And the lecture notes actually use some very stark, modern human conflicts to illustrate what this crashing looks like in real time.
They do. Yeah.
It points to massive structural issues like the ideological friction between capitalism and communism, or the extreme wealth gap between the rich and the poor.
Right.
And just to be clear to you listening, the text is not taking a political stance here, and neither are we. It is impartially pointing to these vast human conflicts as physical manifestations of yin and yang failing to harmonize.
Yeah, it views those societal extremes as a breakdown of cosmic physics. When one side amasses too much and the other is depleted, that is literally yin and yang pulling away from each other.
Which goes against the very nature of that magnet we talked about.
Exactly. The text warns that this kind of unchecked division inevitably leads to ruin. The universe can only survive its own internal tension through mutual beneficence.
Meaning actively working to sustain and benefit the other side.
Yes.
Okay, so if yin and yang are fundamentally inseparable but constantly at risk of destroying each other in the physical world, it makes me wonder how they were ever forced together in the first place.
Right. Where do they come from?
Yeah. What did this look like before they were split into a magnet with two poles?
To answer that, the research takes us back to the ultimate undivided origin of the universe. In this framework, that source is called Yin 1.
The root.
Yes. And what is brilliant about studying the original characters here is the etymology. The Chinese characters for the word yin and 1 both share the radical symbol for water.
That is so cool. The symbol for water is literally baked into the word for the origin of the universe.
It is.
And the text gets incredibly specific about this, claiming that all logic, all principles, and all life stem from water. It says the universe was born from this essential state called water energy.
Or Sugi, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating how this specific archetype appears independently across so many different eras and cultures.
Oh, I was blown away by the historical echoes the author brings up. They point out that the 5,000-year-old river map and Loshu square from ancient Eastern philosophy mathematically link the numbers 1 and 6 to water.
Right, positioning it as the foundation of reality.
Exactly. Then they bring up Laozi, who famously wrote that the highest good is like water.
And it even stretches to the Western tradition.
Yeah. Noting that in the book of Genesis, before light or land exists, the spirit is hovering over the waters. It feels like this deep, instinctual human agreement that reality started with water.
Because water represents pure potential. I mean, it is fluid, formless, nourishing, and boundless. In this cosmological system, this singular undivided origin state is also referred to as tail.
Meaning the Great One.
Right, or sometimes tail. This represents the universe before any division or splitting occurred.
Okay, I have to admit, when I first read about the universe starting as water, my modern brain immediately pictured, like, literal H2O existing before the Big Bang.
Ah.
I was trying to imagine the origin of the universe as just a giant, dark, cosmic swimming pool.
You aren't the first person to make that leap. But the lecturer in the transcripts clarifies that we aren't talking about physical H2O molecules here.
So no cosmic pool.
No cosmic pool. You couldn't take a cup and scoop up the early universe. Sugi is described as an original energy, an essential frequency of life.
Oh, okay.
It is the energetic concept of water, rather than the physical liquid. To help visualize this, the text offers a really beautiful ancient analogy describing the early universe almost like an egg.
So if the physical universe, the stars, the planets, the things we can measure, is the yolk of the egg.
Then that yolk is surrounded by and floating within a boundless, infinite expanse of this life-giving cosmic fluid, this water energy. Heaven and earth exist within this infinite potential.
That is a staggering way to picture reality. But here is the massive logistical problem I ran into while reading this part.
What's that?
An infinite, formless ocean of potential energy is great. But a giant ocean doesn't just accidentally organize itself into a highly complex solar system.
True.
It doesn't just randomly build the intricate laws of physics. That requires a command system.
It requires a blueprint, and it requires a mechanism to actually execute that blueprint. According to the text, the transition from that formless ocean into a structured universe happens through the emergence of fire energy.
So we go from water to fire.
Yes. As the undivided tail begins to move and generate fire energy, it causes a fundamental reaction. This reaction splits the previously unified universe into the divided state of yin and yang. And this newly active, divided state of the universe is called Taeyok.
But the text is very clear that Taegok isn't just acting on its own random impulses. It is paired with another state called Mugyuk.
Right?
And they operate together on this principle called Shiyang, which translates to essence and function. I struggled with this abstract concept until I tried to map it onto something I understand a bit better.
How did you map it? I'm curious.
Well, I started thinking about the universe as a massive tech company building a revolutionary new software.
Okay, I like where this is going.
In this scenario, Mujuk is the visionary CEO. The CEO holds the pure original vision for the software, makes the absolute executive decisions, and holds all the potential. But the CEO doesn't actually sit at a keyboard and type out millions of lines of code.
Right, the CEO provides the essence, the command.
Exactly. So that's where Taegyuk comes in. Taegyuk is the elite engineering team. They receive the CEO's command, and they are the active function. They are the ones actually writing the code, organizing the architecture, and setting the whole system into motion.
That perfectly illustrates the Qiyang principle. Mugik is the essence, the stillness that contains the intention. Taegyuk is the function, the active energy that executes the command.
It makes so much more sense when you frame it that way.
And overseeing this entire cosmic operation, like the ultimate authority guiding the CEO and the engineers, is the supreme ruler of the nine heavens, known in this tradition as Gucheon Sengye.
So this command center, Mujik and Taegyuk, successfully executes the initial blueprint. They initiate the ultimate cosmic separation.
They do. The translation describes how, through this functional process, the light, clear energy was directed to rise up, eventually forming heaven.
Which aligns with the pure yang force.
Right. And simultaneously, the heavy, dense, turbid energy was directed to sink down, forming earth, which aligns with the pure yin force.
So we finally have the structured universe. We have heaven above and earth below, the two massive halves of reality.
Yes, the grand cosmic design.
But reading further into the academic notes, this is where a terrifying realization drops. This design was successfully built, but it contains a massive, catastrophic structural flaw.
A flaw that shifts the entire weight of the universe onto our shoulders.
Right.
The text emphasizes that heaven and earth are obviously incomprehensible in their physical size. They operate on a planetary galactic scale. But in this cosmology, physical size is not the most important metric.
Not at all.
The text points out that humans, despite being physically microscopic compared to a galaxy, possess a unique capacity. Humans are described as the most spiritual beings, or the most spiritually capable entities in the universe.
And the universe desperately needs that spiritual capacity because heaven and earth, left to themselves, represent an inherently unstable system.
Very unstable.
The source explicitly uses the English word unstable in the lecture notes.
Right.
Because heaven is pure yang and earth is pure yin, they are massive, opposing extremes.
And without an active conscious mediator sitting between them to manage their interaction, their energies will inevitably clash.
And we established earlier what happens when yin and yang clash.
Catastrophic destruction. The system tears itself apart. The text makes a stunningly bold claim regarding this instability. It states that the entire purpose of heaven and earth existing in the first place was to create humans.
Wow.
The lecturer explicitly says, without humans, there is no heaven and earth.
The universe didn't just accidentally produce us as a byproduct of evolution. It literally required us to exist so that we could manage its internal physics.
Yes.
Humanity's mission is to be the ultimate safety valve. Our job is to constantly harmonize these massive cosmic forces. The literature refers to this concept as Umyang Haptiok.
The harmonizing of yin and yang, and to achieve Umyang Haptiok, humans cannot be passive. The philosophy demands that we master the ways of heaven, deeply understand the physical realities of Earth, and engage actively in complex human affairs.
Well, you have to be involved in everything.
Exactly. The ultimate goal for a human being in this framework is Winjinain Ha living for the world and actively bringing peace to it.
And the consequences for failing to do that are terrifying. If we fail to bring peace, if we fail to be that harmonizing mediator, it isn't just that society has a bad century.
No, the universe itself gets sick.
The lecturer uses a highly specific, visceral metaphor to explain this that really stuck with me. They compare unresolved human resentment to rheumatism.
It is a brilliant, slightly unnerving biological analogy. Rheumatism and autoimmune diseases in general happen when a body's internal defense system gets confused.
Right? Your white blood cells are designed to find outside invaders and neutralize them, but in an autoimmune response, those cells get confused and start attacking your own healthy joints, your own tissues.
Exactly.
The text suggests that human beings are essentially the white blood cells of the universe. When we fail to practice mutual beneficence and instead harbor resentment, hatred, and unhealed trauma, that negative energy doesn't just disappear.
It doesn't fade away.
It acts exactly like confused white blood cells. It turns inward and starts attacking the very body of the universe, spreading like a cosmic pathogen.
It perfectly captures the danger and the stakes. It also highlights why the Daesun Jinri worldview asks so much of humanity.
Yeah.
The expert in the transcript actually expands on this by contrasting it with another very famous philosophical concept. Many people are familiar with the traditional Korean concept of Hongik Ingen.
Which translates roughly to broadly benefiting humanity, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds great on paper.
It is great, but the text critiques it as being fundamentally too narrow.
Because Hongik Ingen only focuses on other humans.
Precisely. It is anthropocentric. In this cosmology, merely being kind to other humans is not enough to keep the universe from collapsing.
It's just a drop in the bucket.
Right. The true, highest moral obligation of a human being is Iok Chochansang. This means saving, nurturing, and harmonizing all living things across the entire cosmos.
All living things.
Yes, you aren't just a citizen of Earth, you are an active participant in the universe's ongoing survival. If we get sick with resentment, the universe begins to die. If we heal and harmonize, the universe thrives.
Let's take a breath and look back at the sheer scale of the journey these sources just took us on. We started with the absolute foundation, the paradoxical, inseparable dance of yin and yang.
Where one force generates the other, and where conflict between them means physical destruction.
Right. From that basic cellular level, we traced everything backward to the ultimate undivided origin, that boundless, infinite water energy of Tao.
The formless potential from which every single thing in reality shares a common ancestry.
Then we mapped out how that ocean organized itself, the cosmic command center utilizing the principle of essence and function.
The visionary CEO, Mujek, and the executing engineering team, Teika.
Dividing that water energy to construct the vast structures of heaven and earth.
And finally, we uncovered the hidden flaw in that grand architecture. Heaven and earth are massive, but they are intrinsically unstable forces of pure yang and pure yin.
They require a conscious spiritual mediator to prevent a systemic crash.
Which brings this entire massive philosophy right back down to you, the listener.
Exactly. The ultimate takeaway from these academic notes is incredibly heavy, but deeply empowering. According to this worldview, you are not a random bystander floating on a rock in a cold, empty cosmos.
No, you are the safety valve.
Your actions, your unresolved resentments, the grudges you hold, and your daily ability to create harmony directly impact the structural stability of reality itself. You are the immune system of the universe.
It is a staggering level of cosmic responsibility. And exploring this ancient framework through a modern lens leaves us with a fascinating unmentioned variable to consider.
Oh, what's that?
Well, this entire cosmology rests on the idea that human consciousness is the required mediator, the unique spiritual element that balances heaven and earth.
Right.
But as we rapidly move into an era of artificial intelligence, creating non-human silicon-based entities that can process logic, make decisions, and potentially harbor their own forms of awareness.
Oh, wow.
What happens to the cosmic balance? Can a non-human intelligence participate in harmonizing the universe? Or does this cosmic framework demand the specific, messy, emotional consciousness of a human being to prevent reality from tearing itself apart?
Man, it makes you wonder if our technology is helping us mediate the universe, or if we are building something that the universe simply doesn't know how to balance.